Chapter 15. Tahra emerged from her castle holding a piece of paper. "I have the song ready," she chimed. All the creatures fell silent, so they would be able to hear Tahra sing the new melody. She sang it, and her beautiful voice echoed throughout the land. Her song went as follows. "It's a brand new day today. We need to get up and enjoy it. The sun is shining bright, and there is so much delight. Everyone everywhere wants to do as much as they can while it's light. There is plenty of new exciting adventures awaiting in this brand new day, so we must not waste any time. Here we go, let's start the day and make it worthwhile. So come on and embrace the day. Get up and start the day." "That's perfect!" exclaimed Carrie the Cardinal. The other creatures nodded, too breathless to speak after hearing her mesmerizing voice and flawless lyrics. Tahra smiled and stood up. "Good night, everyone. See you all in the morning." "Good night, Tahra," all the animals said together, finally finding their own voices again. In the castle, Tahra went up the 30 purple carpeted stairs up to her room. Tahra walked over to her bed and lifted up the pale purple sheet. She slowly climbed in bed. The mattress was very cushiony. Tahra rested her head back on the fluffy yellow pillow. Tahra closed her eyes and instantly was asleep, the joy and excitement of the day behind her. She had longed to sleep on something much more comfortable than her woven bed. It felt like the bed had trapped her inside and she would never get out of it again. Meanwhile, back in the helicopter, Kate was still helping Marietta. "Kate, it is 8 o'clock. You should probably go home," informed Marietta sadly to know her helper would have to disappear. "I don't know, Marietta. Is it safe?" Kate implored. "What do you mean?" "I live on the mountains." "Well, I will have the pilot fly over the mountains and you show me where your house is. Then I will let you know if it is safe or not." "Okay," replied Kate. The pilot began flying over the mountains in the directions that Kate had told him to go. "There it is," Kate called out, pointing to her house down below. "It would be safest for you elsewhere, just in case. Go home and get anyone that is there, mom, dad, pets, or any other life. Then come back here," Marietta instructed. Kate nodded. The pilot flew them back over to where Kate got on at. She carefully climbed down and untied Lily from the tree branch. Then she hopped up on her and took off like a rocket. It finally sank in that it was 8 o'clock, and her dad would have been home for an hour at this point. Panic ran through her veins. She had left so suddenly without leaving a note. She was terrified her dad would fear something bad had happened to her. Fear drove her to ride Lily even faster than she was already going. She had to get home and fast so to let her dad know she was all right before she would cause him a heart attack. While Kate rode off, Marietta climbed down from the helicopter and went over to her friend. Christina immediately noticed something more than the fires lingered in Marietta's troubled eyes. "Are you all right?" she inquired. Marietta shook her head, and then an eruption of tears poured out. Immediately, Christina pulled her close. "What happened? What's wrong?" "Kate really reminds me of Kathleen, and it's stirring up all the memories and regret attached to it." "What if—" "Don't go there. I just really miss Kathleen." "I know you do. Enough on it. I need to focus on my work." As soon as Kate got back to her house, she ran inside, leaving Lily on the porch. "Dad," called Kate, and continued, "I'm sorry I left without a note. I'm back now, and I'm safe." She waited and didn't hear an answer, nor did anyone come out from her room. "Dad?" she questioned. Kate ran upstairs and saw her parents' bedroom door was open. She peered in, hoping to see her dad reading a book on the bed. However, the room was empty. The house was silent. "Dad!" Kate screamed loud so everyone on the mountains could hear her. Unfortunately, her dad didn't answer. Kate knew there wasn't much time and Marietta was waiting for her. She had to assume her father was safe and pushed all of her worries aside. He then registered she hadn't seen his truck in the driveway, so of course he wasn't there. Kate ran down the hall to her room. Just in case the flames caught the house on fire, she wanted to make sure she had the one thing that meant the most to her. She opened up a drawer and pulled out a picture of her, Tahra, Beth, Nick, and the horses. A picture that meant the world to her because it was her family she held most dear. Outside in the stables, Kate opened the stalls of Crystal, Scarlet, and Moonlight. "Follow me," instructed Kate. "Crystal, be careful and don't walk on your leg." The horses were smart and knew something was going on. They had been really good hearing and had heard her calling for her dad. When she came into the stable, they could tell she was trying to remain calm, but was upset about something. Kate was terrified and wished more than anything Tahra was with her now to keep her calm, or at least know where in the world her dad was and if he was all right. Kate wanted to ride as fast as she could and get to Marietta, but she had to go at the same pace as Crystal so she could keep up. Crystal could sense Kate was scared and wanted to go quicker so she could do her best walking as quickly as she could. In the near distance, Kate could see Marietta was on the ground waiting for them. She stood there fully composed, and it showed the leadership built into her. "What about your mom and dad?" she inquired. "My mom is on a business trip, and my dad was supposed to be home an hour ago," answered Kate, trying to hide her fear, but tears pricked her eyes. Marietta could tell Kate was worried about him, so she leaned down and pulled the crying child into her arms. Kate cherished being held with her head resting against Marietta's chest. She stroked the young one's hair as she rubbed her shoulder blade with her left hand. Marietta shook and tried to withhold her own tears that threatened to fall again. Kate sniffled as she embraced being held and letting her emotions surface for the first time. She was used to having Tahra cradle her, but her tears were resulted from fear for her dearest sister. More than anything, she needed to be comforted, and Marietta was providing just that. Calmly, Marietta soothed, "It's going to be all right, I promise. Your father probably couldn't get through because of the flames. I will stop at nothing until I find your sister and make sure she gets home safe. All is going to be all right." Delicately, she kissed the top of her head, feeling so close to the young one and hoping it would fill her with the boost she needed. "Thank you, Marietta. I really need to be held. You will make a great mother someday." That comment struck her like a bullet, and she tried not to make it obvious. Bittersweetly, she forced herself to respond, "Thank you, but I will never have children, nor get married. My duties as chief are far too important for me to possibly waste time on someone else. Anyway, I need to get back to watching the flames, but my assistant, Christina, will take you to a safe place. And Kate, if you need anything ever, feel free to come to me, even if it's a shoulder to lean upon. I will always be here for you." Christina smiled warmly at Kate, but said nothing. Kate settled a little, knowing her dad was probably safe and was only unable to get through, and that Marietta was going to send help out to scour the land for her dearest sister. As for Miss Sarah, she had left the Strong's house stable a while ago and headed to her small cottage. However, she was terrified being right there against the mountain surface that the flames would come and swallow her home. However, she did not know where she would stay. Then her phone rang and she hurried to retrieve it. "Hello," she answered. "Hey, Miss Sarah," responded Mrs. Melody. "What may I do for you?" "I could ask you the same question. I heard on the radio the mountains have caught fire, and I can see the smoke lingering in the air. I know you live very near to them, and I am scared for you. You are my best friend. I do not want you to wake up in the middle of the night to find you are trapped by flames. I am coming to your place to get you out of there. You can stay the night with me and remain until the disaster disappears, so you might want to pack several days' worth of clothing. Then you can ride with me to school each day. Won't that be fun? Are you sure you don't mind having another in your home?" "Yeah, I would love to have you over." "Your husband doesn't mind, though, either?" "Not at all. You know Daniel. He is the most welcoming." "We both would be delighted to have you." "All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Melody." "You're welcome. I will see you soon. And if I arrive before you're done packing, I can help you as well." "Okay. See you shortly." At that moment, Christina came up to a building. On top, in big yellow letters, were the words "Glowing Springs Police/Fire Department." "This is our headquarters. Behind here is the building where the helicopters and planes are kept. Inside the headquarters, we have a place you and the horses can stay in that big building. The small building to your left is the station where all our police officers do their work. Then to your right is the fire station," explained Christina. "What about my dad?" questioned Kate, still worried. "I'm going to go find him and bring him here in a moment." Kate got the horses settled in within the spare barn, where other animals were kept if someone needed to stay there a while. The barn was inside of the headquarters to the left wing. Then Kate went back to the room she was given to stay in and then got herself comfortable. Kate was going to turn the lamp off when she noticed a poster. The poster had a large rock at the top right corner. Down the middle was a bright blue, cool, refreshing waterfall surrounded by lots of trees. Across the bottom, in golden letters, were the words "Glowing Springs." Kate recognized this place. It was a quiet place on the mountains where she and Tahra would hang out, Water Willow. It was their favorite place, and where Kate and Beth had first checked when Tahra went missing. The town had the same picture on it because it was a symbol of the town, Glowing Springs. Kate crawled into a fuzzy, warm blanket that was on top of an air mattress and waited for her sleep to find her. She forced herself to stop worrying about her dad and knew in her heart he was all right. She let all her worries and fears drift away as she drifted off. Meanwhile, Miss Sarah had set her bag down in the guest room, and the three of them were sitting in the living room. Daniel had his arm wrapped around his wife, and she rested her head on his left shoulder. Miss Sarah chimed, "Daniel, thank you for letting me stay here." He replied, "Of course, there is no way we are going to let you put your life at risk. Is there anything you need? Can we get you something to eat or drink?" "I'm fine, but thank you." The room fell quiet again, and Daniel stole a kiss on his wife's cheek and then placed his hand on her belly. She flickered a brief smile and then commented, "Miss Sarah, how can you sit by your whole life without finding your true love? You truly are missing out on something wonderful." "I told you, Melody, I never want to because of what happened to my parents. You know how fragile I am. I could never risk getting as hurt as my father had. Then my mother abandoned us. I will never take the risk, and that I could end up as my father, left to be in pain the rest of my life. I'm happy alone, especially because I have such good friends like you." "It's not the same, though. I cherish you, but it's not the same with how I feel towards Daniel. Please excuse me for a moment." She stood up and Daniel caught her hand. "Honey, are you all right?" "I'm fine. I just need a moment." She let go of her breath, and it seemed heavy as she gripped the armrests of the couch tightly. Of course she noticed her husband and friend looking at her with concern, so she informed, "I just feel a little dizzy. I only need a cup of ice water, and I will be fine." "Sit down, I'll get it." She shook her head and took a step away from the couch, but nearly fell over. Daniel hurried to stand beside her and wrap his arm around her to steady her. "Are you stressing about her again?" She nodded and he kissed her cheek. "Tahra?" questioned Miss Sarah, and her friend shook her head. Then Mrs. Melody informed, "I hadn't found the right moment to tell you yet, but I guess now will do. We're going to have a child." "Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Congratulations, my friend." To her surprise, tears flowed at once from her best friend's bright eyes. "What's the matter?" She shook her head and pulled away from Daniel and rushed up the stairs. Daniel responded before following his wife upstairs. "She's stressing about things she can't control again. She and I will probably turn in for the night. Good night, and we'll see you in the morning." Across town, Christina returned to the mountains. Firefighter 13 stood there giving orders to the others. He saw the assistant chief and flashed a quick smile. Christina inquired, "Did Marietta return to the helicopter?" He nodded. Christina pressed the key on the walkie-talkie. "Marietta, may I join you?" Her friend didn't answer, but the latter lowered. Carefully she climbed up and then saw the chief sitting by the monitor. Tears were pouring down Marietta's cheeks. "My goodness, I thought you seemed troubled, but I didn't realize so badly. What happened? What's wrong?" Marietta choked out, "Nothing, don't worry about it." "Clearly, it's something. You never let your emotions show unless you are in the safety of your home. What's going on? Does this still have to do with our earlier conversation about Kathleen?" "Yes, but I don't want to talk about it. I have to focus on charting the flames." Christina wrapped her arm around her to comfort her. However, Marietta brushed her arm off. "Not now. I need to focus. I promise I'm all right. You should go home." Christina sighed, knowing her stubborn best friend wasn't going to give her any answers. Knowing what Marietta had gone through in the past, Christina refused to go home, knowing her best friend needed her support. When it reached midnight, Christina offered, "Go get some sleep in the back of the helicopter. I'll watch the map." "What about you?" she asked. "I drank too much caffeine earlier. I'm wired. I could stay up many more hours." "But your eyes are drained. Please go rest, even if it's just for a few hours." Marietta thought about it for a long moment, but then nodded and stated, "Wake me up if you need any help, or if you get too tired and want me to take over again." She lied down on the thin mattress, but didn't close her eyes. The thundering of the propeller seemed really loud as it beat against the air and pounded the inside of the chief's brain. Soon it shifted into the drumming of a heartbeat, and a hazy scene from her memory crossed her eyes. There was a doctor mumbling something while looking and pointing to the one monitor. Her words came back to her, "It's beautiful." The doctor nodded, and she had turned her head towards the left, where Christina stood by the bedside holding her hand. Then Marietta's mind switched to a different memory, where she sat in the office chair and a professor on the other side of the desk. The professor's gentle voice said, "Marietta, you will carry that pain with you the rest of your life." With that, she finally fell asleep. Less than an hour later, she sat up screaming. Christina at once rushed to the back of the helicopter and found her friend again, in tears. Knowing it was probably a nightmare of the past that had awoken her, Christina wrapped her arms around her but didn't say anything. They sat there for a few minutes until Marietta stood up and declared, "The bed is yours. I'm not going back to sleep. I have to chart the flames."